Hello everyone, FoxPirate here, and welcome to a little series that I'm going to call FoxPirate Draws. In these videos, I'll be recording myself drawing sped up, so that you can see my creative process from start to finish. Most times I'll be starting from the sketch phase, but sometimes I'll start from the line art phase or the coloring phase. Today I'm drawing Fennekin and Vivillon from the newest Pokemon generation, Gen 6, which came out on October 12th, 2013. That's Pokemon X and Y for those of you who don't know. I started this picture a few months before the games came out, so the script that I had written for it is kinda null and void since I'm uploading it in 2014. To make a long story short, the idea for this picture came to me when Vivillon was announced. I thought that Vivillon was the cutest butterfly Pokemon I'd ever seen, and I had this thought that what if one of them were to just land ever so gently on Fennekin's nose? My friend Tinkerjet thought that it was an adorable idea. And since she was excited for Froakie, she kind of imagined Froakie in the background trying to snatch Vivillon from Fennekin's nose to eat it. So one idea spun off another between us, and suddenly this turned into a collaboration. I drew Fennekin and Vivillon, while Tinkerjet drew Froakie and Chespin, which I'm going to be giving links to in the description. I know someone's probably going to bring it up, so I'm going to address it now. I know Vivillon is probably bigger than how I portrayed him or her in this picture. However, the idea is cute, so comments such as, "You got the sizes wrong," will be ignored. Also, if I'm pronouncing names wrong, Fennekin, Vivillon, Vivillon, I think I heard before, I honestly don't care, so please don't bother to try to correct me. But before I come off sounding mean, I actually want to use these videos to be more social. I'd love to answer your questions if you have any, or share my advice if you feel like you want to apply my methods. As a self-taught artist, I understand the importance of reaching out to someone else. I know that it's already late in the video, so I'll just say that I'm using Photoshop, and to sketch I use the typical brush that they offer. I like to start off sketching really big in Photoshop, because it's better to go from larger to smaller rather than smaller to larger. When you draw small first and then try to scale it up, the quality of your picture is really going to drop, and the bigger you try to make it, the worse it's going to look. So in that regard, it's better to start bigger. That way later you can scale it down if you need to. I really don't have that much else to say about the way that I draw, but if you see something that I might have left out, just leave a comment and I'll answer as best as I can. If you're curious to know about the subject matter of each of these videos, it'll honestly depend on what I feel like drawing. I usually lean towards the side of cartoons from either movies, TV, or video games. However, if you'd like to see me sketch something in particular, leave a comment on this video or somewhere on my channel. I don't always have ideas for what to draw, so if I like your suggestion, I'll take it. Getting back on the subject of Pokemon, I've been playing since Red and Blue, and I honestly feel that X and Y is a great addition to the series. I think the part that I liked best was that from the beginning, you had a whole myriad of Pokemon you could choose from. I think in Route 2 you could catch 10 different kinds, whereas on the second route of other games you'd have 2 or 3. Don't quote me on those numbers, but right from the get-go you could have a bunch of different Pokemon to choose from. Like most fans, I was beginning to feel like the games didn't really offer anything new, even though I'm one of those fans who would just say, "Give me another 150 Pokemon and I'll play the game." New Pokemon, that is, not any of this mega stuff. I'm not the type to be dazzled by pretty graphics in a game. I honestly think I'm going to miss the old sprite formula. It was interesting to see which Pokemon would have which pose next. I really feel like Game Freak came through with their 3D models though. Call me cynical, but I thought we were going to have cheap animations and reused models. You know you've got a good game on your hands when the day you get it, you play it all day. And even when your family wants to go out to eat for dinner that night. Now that I've entertained you through the boring clean up the line art phase, we can now move on to the coloring phase, which is infinitely more interesting to watch. I don't really do anything special when it comes to coloring. I have a couple of reference pictures that you'll see pop up every now and then. I pick out the base colors with the eyedropper tool, and then paint it in the hard way. I will tell you the reason why I colored Fennekin and Vivillon all one color. It's easier for me to color everything that needs color one solid color, and then make a duplicate of that layer. After I duplicate the color layer, I can then click on a button that's called Lock Transparent Pixels. When that little icon is clicked, you can easily replace your base color with another color simply by painting over it. For example, Fennekin has a white muzzle. I simply lock the transparent pixels and then paint over the muzzle color white. Also, by locking the transparent pixels and just painting over top of them, you're guaranteed not to color outside your lines. I also achieve some of the shadowing by duplicating the color layer and locking the transparent pixels again. It's a good way to color things in fast without going over your line work. As for the shadow on the characters, I use kind of an airbrush cell shade technique. I'm by no means a painter, so most of my characters are usually cell shaded. You can get a nice, believable cartoon feel with it. My light source is coming from the top left, so I always want to keep that in mind whenever I'm picking places to put shadow or highlights. I also tried to go for a Ken Sugimori color style with this, and I think it was pretty successful. As for tips on where to put your shadow and highlights, I really don't have much to say other than to observe objects in natural and harsh lighting. If you're cell shading like me, you can Google some images of anime. Of course, nothing beats the experience you gain when you practice. Of course, if it doesn't look right, don't leave it in. There's a point in the recording where I try to give some highlights to Fennekin's ear fluff. It didn't really look right, so I erased it and found that shadows were the way to go. Vivillon's wings were really tough to shade because of the intricate pattern, so more layer duplicating and locking transparent pixels for me. As we reach the end of this recording, I just wanted to remind everyone that this is actually a collaborative effort between me and Tinkerjet. She also recorded herself drawing Chespin and Froakie, so I'll be posting links to her channel and video uploads in the description below. And here is the finished product. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.